All right, welcome back to another episode of the Dumb Jocks podcast, where you guys know dumb jocks aren't so dumb. We're here to give you some more knowledge as well as hopefully a little bit more entertainment. You know, we're going to give you a little bit of both. And before you guys even get a little settled in, as usual, this episode is brought to you by Telson Tequila. As you guys can see, you got to maintain that you drink responsibly, should we say. We've been able to see it firsthand what can happen if you're not doing what you need to, getting your nutrition right before you drink, or maybe over drinking. That's never a good thing. And, maybe we'll be able to get some experience on how that could even go even further. So though we have this as a sponsor, we always tell people drink responsibly, because you want to make sure that you're taking your life in the right direction and use this as a celebration. Also, if you want to get into the private community and talk to other athletes, be able to get different resources, tips, maybe understand how to live that lifestyle a little bit better, join the locker room. The link is right below. You also have the website somewhere on the screen here, and you'll be able to get a little bit more information on how you can get into what we're calling the first private community for athletes of all levels. But without any further ado, right, I got the man right here, the legend. He's got some great products, I can tell you from firsthand experience. I know his name is Carl, but we're already on a first name basis. I wasn't even able to get his last name here. So we have Carl, the owner of Homegrown Relief. All right, everybody, give it up for Carl here today.
Thank you, fellas. Thank you.
So, Carl, for the people, and for me as well, what is your last name, bro?
Kaplan.
There we go. Carl Kaplan. All right, everybody. So his IG is already linked below. You can go follow it. You can be able to see some of these crazy workouts that he's on. I was checking it out before I even met him, and I'm telling you, it's not just a shirt. He's definitely in shape for real. Go look at it. He is a CrossFit athlete, and he's being able to bring us some products that are helping athletes to be able to recover, right? If that's not the case.
Recover, relieve pain, relieve tendonitis, relieve muscle soreness.
Okay.
As you said, our Instagram handle is at Homegrown Relief, website www.hdrcbd.com. And yes, we make a lot of products that are healthy for you and beneficial in the recovery process. We also have products that aid in relieving anxiety and helping sleep and settle down.
That's awesome. It's like all parts of your life that you need when you're an athlete.
100%.
That's what it sounds like.
100%.
Oh yeah, I love that, man. I love that. I'm definitely gonna have
and
to
it's non-pharmaceutical, non-addictive, non-psychoactive.
Okay. This is like
made
all
with
natural.
Organic ingredients, all natural. Everything is good for you.
Okay.
Everyone that's involved with our business is also a user of these products, in addition to promoting them.
Yes, sir. And we're natural promoters here. You know, I'm excited to be able to actually get a workout in before I get some of this product. But one of our producers in the back, he actually asked a question I want to bring to the forefront so some of the audience can be able to hear this as well. He was saying that, you know, most of the time he does CBD products, it's before a workout. And it sounds like you're talking to us about using these after a workout. Is there any detriment or any problems that you could have by really using a CBD product before a workout?
No detriment whatsoever. I mean, just for, let's say, a static example, if you have a sore knee, sore elbow, sore shoulder, using some of these products might help relieve some of that pain, in addition to aiding in the healing process for your sore areas. So that might help benefit you to get a better workout in, as well as feeling better as you go about your day in regular life.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you can use this not only before workouts, but you're saying you can use this really anytime throughout the day.
Impossible to overdose.
Oh, I love that.
It's not like drinking the whole bottle of Telson here.
Yeah, yeah. You definitely will have some issues doing that. And we don't advise it, guys. We love the liquor. We're huge supporters. Don't drink a bottle by yourself at once, please. All right, that's not being responsible. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to, like, let's say, actually being responsible with your health, right, with your fitness, what brought you into being so, in shape, bro? Because you're jacked. Like, you're not playing around with this. You're actually got some, let's say, experience with what you've been doing.
Prior to getting involved in the route that I've gone down recently in the sport of CrossFit, I was not living, let's just say I was not living my best life. I was doing things like drinking a whole bottle of Telson tequila myself on a daily basis. I struggled with alcohol and drug addiction for 20 years, in and out of rehab, jail. Nothing positive and nothing good. So I came into the sport of CrossFit really looking for an answer and really looking for a way to get involved in something that could move my life in a more of a positive direction.
I understand that. I can totally understand that, man. And it sounds like it was a long journey.
And then even to go further on that note, I wouldn't even say that there's necessarily a cure or an answer or a great solution for addiction or addictive illness. Really, all I did was replace negative behaviors with something positive. And maybe the reason why I've done well at this sport is because I've done it to an extreme level. But when you do things that are addictive by nature, like drugs and alcohol, you tend to do that to an extreme level. So I just tried to replace something negative with something positive.
No, I love that. I love how you were able to put that into words there. And it sounds like you really went through a process to be able to get to that mindset. When was the time that you understood, you know what, I got to really stop doing these negative things and find a positive replacement?
To tell you the truth, I think I understood that for a long period of time, but was never really able to find a good answer or an outlet for what I needed. I probably knew this very early on in life, and there was certain time periods from, let's say, the late 90s to 2015 where I'd have a good run for 6 months, a year and a half, but I always fell back into old ways and old habits. I just was never able to really commit to or find that positive community that I needed to help me succeed.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And
it's like if you hang around, right?
Mhm.
If you hang around in a bar every day, days on end, what are you going to do?
Drink.
Right?
Absolutely.
So I just found a positive athletic community to just hang. If you just hang around that, if you hang around a CrossFit gym 5, 6, 7 days a week, you're going to get fit.
Absolutely. You're 100%. It's like they say, you are just the sum of the 5 people that you hang around. Right. So this is just an example of that. It sounds like
I would agree with that completely.
Yeah. Some of the things I like saying, some people around me have heard me say, you hang around 5 millionaires, you'll probably become the 6th. You hang around 5 broke people, you'll be broke quite quickly. I'm not going to lie. It just, everything, we're just the sum of the community. Right. So with that, it's like you really have to separate how you were able to go through this life. You had to figure out, you know what, I like what I'm doing. It's kind of fun, but it ain't getting me where I want to be. So I got to stop this and do something different.
I don't even think it was fun, to be honest with you. Looking back on it now, I sit here and I live with a lot of regrets that in the whole addiction and recovery process, I haven't really been able to move on from.
Yeah.
Myself. And that's probably a problem. I do live with a lot of regrets over the stupid things that I did over a period of 20 plus years. And I wish that I didn't do it, but at the same time, there's nothing I can do to change it.
Absolutely. All we can do is make the most of what we have today, right? Get 1% better every single day.
1% better every day.
I love it, man. Yeah. I love it. Sounds like you've turned that new leaf. You've been going through that process. How many years is it now that you've been sober?
Since October 2015.
Yes, sir.
So it's been a little bit of time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I love that. I love that. That's discipline. That's dedication. And that's commitment to the new life that you want to have.
Absolutely. 100%.
I can, salute you for that, my man. You're definitely doing something great for us.
Thank you.
And not only just the products that are helping us be better people, just your story. Yeah. It's a testimony to other people who might be going through situations that they feel that they might not be able to overcome. And maybe they're not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Right now, you're giving them an example to show you I've been through situations and now I'm here on the other side and I'm still going. Right. I didn't fall back. I'm still going forward and there's so much more to come. So shout out to you, bro.
Again, the products came along much later in the process. That didn't happen in 2015. That was years later, but also in the whole sobriety process, I would say that a big problem that most people have and when they fall back is they have a lot of free time that they didn't have before because all that time that you were spending doing the wrong thing, you now have to replace that time with something else. And somehow it just came to light to me to try to create these products and turn it into a business.
Yeah, I hear that, bro. And what made you take up that time, right? What made you do that instead of just like kind of leaving free time and getting into more crazy stuff?
Free time is just, it's absolutely the devil. If you are newly sober and trying to change your life, it's like all day long the devil's tapping you on your shoulder trying to get you to go back to doing something wrong. So trying to think of a good answer here for you.
No, man, you definitely gave me a good one right there. You know, you're literally a book that I read. It was called Outwitting the Devil, and how he describes it. Quite honestly, you guys should go check it out. It's a great book.
Who's that by?
That book is, oh man, it just left my mind. I knew you were going to ask that, and I was like, you know what? I should know this off the top of my head because I have a full notes on it, and it's one of the books that I read. I read about a book a week, and this is one that really just took a great impact on me. I can't lie to you. Outwitting the Devil is by, one second here while I get that for you. Because
what are you reading this week?
This week, I'm actually taking into a new, this is a Dr. Rob Glover. One of the things that I'm going in is I haven't done it this year. I did it a couple years ago, but I wanted to really get a new, let's say, refresh of it. It's the 4 Agreements. Okay. Have you heard of that one?
I have not.
Oh, that one is a great book. You're going to make me look that up. I'm going to give you the name so I don't hold them up while I look that one up as well. But the Outwitting the Devil book, it was written a long time ago, but it was written from the perspective of having a conversation with the devil. And he was giving the author the different tactics of how to maneuver throughout life. And the way that he described the people who were successful versus those who are just normal people in the world were drifting versus not drifting, which is kind of like what I think you were alluding to with having that free time. And what he was saying is the drifters, those are people that are all within his control. He can always get them to drift and get into something else that's going to lead them down to a situation that he's closer to them. But the people who are not drifting, staying focused on their path, staying focused on their mission, those are the people that he can't even get to. He can't get connected to them at all because they're anchored on what they're trying to get moving forward. And it sounded like you were just saying, you know, when you have that time where you're not doing anything, that's kind of why you were focused on getting towards something, because you're just left there drifting and it didn't really necessarily make you feel comfortable.
I would agree with that completely.
No, man. And I got to say, like, that book, again, it shows itself in so many different ways, bro. And the way that you're, let's say, carry yourself, the way that I already told you right before we started, I love your energy, the way that you move throughout the space. It doesn't seem like you are what you've been through. So that's why it's like another testament to the work that you've put in.
What would you think that someone who's been through what I've been through would seem like?
Oftentimes, people wear their, let's say, experiences on their sleeves, right? So sometimes you might be able to feel the fact that they're not comfortable in a room alone. Like, just to give a little more transparency to the group, I was running around doing a couple things before the show got started, and Carl was here in the studio just with my producers, and there was really no issues. He seemed very comfortable, seemed very relaxed, didn't really seem like there was anything that would have his mind in an anxious place while he was honestly by himself. My producers were speaking to each other, and he's in a new place that he's never been, and he seemed, extremely comfortable.
Everybody's cool. Like, it's all good.
Sure. I do think that we're cool people, but the first thing that comes to my mind is like, maybe their experiences would force them to not be comfortable in those situations of a new place. Maybe they're looking to join in with whatever's going on. As you can see, that we're sponsored by a liquor company, right? So somebody that's not, been through those experiences might have a hard time.
At like this point in time, something like that doesn't bother me at all. It's not enticing to me. Respectfully, I don't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if I was somebody that was newly sober or a year or two in, or even now for me, just being around something like that all the time would probably not be the best idea. And I could see how something like that would make me uncomfortable.
No, absolutely.
Or if you asked me to meet you down the strip in some bar, I probably wouldn't go.
Makes
Because
sense.
once again, you are the sum of
The
5 people that you hang out with. Like I don't. It's not my scene. It's not my thing.
100%. I could totally get that, man. And you really just made the choice. You're like, you know what? I actually want to do better for what I want to get towards in life, and I got to put myself around those type of people. And right now, it seems like in the world that we're living in, it's a crazy time. Everybody is falling into different communities, right? In a lot of different ways. You got the sports side where sports has just begun. The major sports, should we say? College football just got started. Before the show got going, we were watching Colorado play North Dakota State. So now you got 2 states that are against each other. They're going to be fighting with each other. But then at the same time, it's election time. And people have separated into 2 different.
You want to go down that road now,
right? We were having a little side convo. What are your thoughts on let's say the division that's coming into our communities now?
I don't like any of it. I think it's all very divisive. Everything is it's the vocal minority that seems to control the narrative all the time, and it's the only opinions that come out on the media, especially mainstream media, either way, are extremist positions. And I don't think that you, me, or most of the people here, and I don't want to speak for them, really are about that. We're probably all somewhere. There's probably some middle ground where most of us lie. But we got, in my opinion, our entire system here has been hijacked by morons on both sides.
Yeah,
because it's an extreme position, and that's the only position, and they're not looking out for your best interest or my best interest, because our best interest is a unifying narrative and some type of middle ground. But I believe that it's all being done by design and keep us divided, and they can stay in control.
Yeah, I can't disagree with what you're saying there. And like to keep it wrapped into like what we were talking about with the things about sports, like have you ever been a part of any type of sports team, a sports group, a sports program at all, that in that opportunity you didn't have any unity, right? You guys weren't getting along. There wasn't really much chemistry, and you were able to succeed?
Never. That's not, I mean, maybe that has happened before in some circumstance, but that's not going to happen on a regular basis.
Yeah. That's what I've experienced as well. 9 times out of 10.
If the team isn't, if you watch a game, right, and you see a team they're all starting to fight amongst themselves and argue with each other, they're getting beat.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting beat.
Absolutely.
It's over
because they beat themselves.
Yeah,
and it seems like that's what they're. Maybe some people are seeing that there's some attempts to make that happen, but I think like what you're alluding to at the beginning of that statement, it's all about trying to find ways to come together throughout this type of fight, and that's the only ways that we're really going to be able to survive through whatever is happening at these moments. Being able to use that unity from those that are looking at things objectively, looking at things through logic, not necessarily through emotional lenses, and allowing that to be able to lead us to a place of hopefully a brighter future.
And to go deeper on that, it's not only that they're keeping us divided. I believe that they're doing everything they can to try and legislate away our personal freedoms. And I don't think we should stand for that.
No, yeah, I can understand that as well, man. I don't think that that's something that anybody's happy about. I think we all enjoy the fact that we do have freedoms. We have the ability to have this conversation here, and in other places we wouldn't even be able to have that. So we're thankful to be able to have those freedoms, and we don't want to give them up. Once you're able to be as entitled as we have been as Americans, which I'm proud to be, it's not something that you want to say goodbye to, right? And you're absolutely right. It is something that we should stand for. And just like in any position that you're doing, anything that you're going through, you want to be able to stand up for what you believe is right. Right. And I don't think that you're saying anything that is demonstrative. I don't think that you're saying anything that's against morals. All right. So I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be able to stand up for exactly the same things that you're talking about here, man. I know we all know who we're both kind of like going towards, but with that we don't have to go deeper into that part of the combo. One of the things that I did want to bring up is with this division that's happening, it could be something that could affect the mental health of certain individuals.
100%.
Right. We're people. So humans are people of community, right? We like to be able to commune with each other. That's something that keeps us peaceful. What do you think your thoughts are on the state of the mental health of not only, let's say, people that are going through this time, but people who might not be having an athletic outlet going through this time. Just your opinion on what do you think of the thoughts of like the mental health of different people going through this, since you have some product that can help with that anxiety.
100% our products help with anxiety, but just using our products is not a solution. Our products are a tool that can be used in addition to making other better choices. And, you know, the mental health thing is an interesting topic. I would feel that I'm not afraid to admit that even myself right now here in, what are we in the end of August 2024, there's a lot of times that I struggle with my own mental health. And a lot of it has to do with what you were speaking about earlier about how, you know, it's election time and our leaders are doing everything they can to keep us divided and keep us at each other's throats. And if I think about it too much, it's depressing. And it'll bring you down. So I wish I had some better answers for mental health, but I would say how the best way that I deal with it is trying to be active, trying to be athletic, get outside, move around, make better choices when it comes to, you know, eating, sleeping. All those things add up to your overall health and well-being.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And yes, I am very physically active. I don't think that everybody else necessarily needs to take it to the extreme level that I'm taking it to, but I think everybody needs to get up, move around, and do something active at least for 30 minutes to an hour a day, 3-4 times a week. And I truly believe that would greatly benefit your mental health.
No, I honestly agree with you on that. And it sounds like you're somebody who's like that's something that's foundational for what you're trying to really get going. Like, quite honestly, that's something that I brought up in a couple of different conversations here. I think that your weight is really just something that's all about your discipline, right? It's calories in versus calories out, and you have the full control over all of that, no matter what your gender is.
No matter
you have
what.
full control over all of it. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I was thinking, you know, is that something that you think that actually has like a correlative value towards your happiness? If you have any type of activity within your life versus somebody who has non-activity, more than likely not the healthiest. Do you think that has any correlation to your happiness?
Would you be happy if you were extremely obese and couldn't move around and could barely fit in that chair and had trouble breathing, can't walk up the stairs? I mean, you're cold. You drop something on the ground, you can't pick it up. Like your whole quality of life goes downhill
from there
rapidly.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure that you can, like, I'm not trying to speak for you, but your nutrition is probably different than mine.
Sure.
But at the same time, you're smart enough to know that at least 80% of the time I got to make good choices, and the other 20% of the time, if I don't make the best choices, I'm still going to be okay.
Yep.
But if you spend all day long making poor choices and are not physically active, yeah, your quality of life is going to suffer.
100%. And you're taking years off of your life.
Years off of your life.
No, man, I couldn't agree with you even anymore, bro. And that's why, man, I know we're streaming on both Rumble and YouTube, so I'm just keeping it a little bit more friendly. But we all have, let's say,
I think you're a friendly guy.
I appreciate that, man. And sometimes the people who are on our late night show might not think I'm the friendliest, but I'm glad that you can see that, you know. But I'm somebody that thinks that, you know, we both have, let's say, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having these, but we're people that have things that we like. Right. And, you know, as men, we like people from the opposite sex that are healthy. Right. We don't like people who are moving towards an unhealthy lifestyle.
But again, isn't that just nature?
I would agree.
Isn't that just God's work?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I mean, call me crazy. I mean,
right. You know, speaking of God's work, what are your thoughts on? We were talking about this a couple of episodes ago, and it seems like it's becoming more prevalent. It kind of happened in the Olympics. We had two people that were fighting in the female boxing championship that, to stay correct, we'll say that they both failed the gender test.
Well, maybe domestic violence is a sport now.
I love the way you put that though, but it's real though. It's real. If that's something that could become a sport, I mean, we got some people that we know would be champions. Like this is just unfair, correct?
It's I would say that there's a lot of really high level athletes that spend their whole lives working and getting to that point and sacrificing endless amounts of sacrifices to compete at a super high level. And it's just my opinion that I think what went on with the Olympics this last go around is just another one of those things that, if I really think about it, would affect my mental health and make me depressed, because I'm out.
Yeah.
I can't watch it. I can't do it.
No, I understand that.
I mean, I can't do it. And I think some of it's just common sense, and I think what they're doing is disrespecting a lot of these people that have sacrificed their whole life to get to that point and get to that stage and, give it all for their country. And it's just like, how did we get to this point? Common sense kind of just
went out the window. I was asking myself that exact same question, honestly, when I was watching.
And what's strange though is it's like it never goes the opposite way. Like there's no biologically born women trying to make it in the NFL.
We've seen a couple stories.
And how come when I go to the animal shelter to adopt a dog, there's only males and females? I don't get it.
I don't either, bro. I don't either. I think things are pretty clear cut and dry. And quite honestly, I think we've seen a lot of examples of how this just doesn't make sense. I'll step out on a limb and I'll even say it. You take one of the top high school basketball teams, male, you put them up against a WNBA team. I'm putting my money on the high school basketball team. You put Carlos Boozer's sons with Gilbert Arenas' son.
Yeah, I get it. And you're not trying to be disrespectful to the women that are playing in the WNBA, who are all great players in their own right and have all worked extremely hard to get to that level.
Sure.
But putting a bunch of men out there in a WNBA game is disrespectful to the women.
Absolutely.
That are involved.
Absolutely. I think that is unfair to them. I don't think we need to see men that are actually put together, even if we're talking about high school or full-grown adults. That's just totally unfair. LeBron James in the WNBA is ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
And it's just, I don't even know how this became a thing.
Yeah, you're honestly right, man. As I was starting to watch the Olympics, the opening ceremony, that's exactly what I was saying is, how is this a thing? How is this even happening? And I felt kind of appalled, just like you were, but I only pushed through just for the simple thing that you actually brought up. There's so many athletes that have dedicated their entire lives,
gave it all for their country.
Absolutely.
And probably, I didn't watch it, but probably gave, tremendous performances in their field. And it's supposed to be a showcase for them. It shouldn't have been about all that other stuff. It should have been about the athletes and their performance.
Absolutely, man. And I think just like what you're saying there, we're losing sight of what really matters here in this time, right? So that's why I kind of like try to get this back to like what we really need to be focusing on, which is why we have the conversations that we do. We talk to the guys about getting in shape. We talk to them about figuring out what your passion is so that you can really be able to get where you need to be in life, figuring out how you can create the opportunities around you by being a good person, developing the relationships, having the 5 people around you that are actually those type of, let's say, high level, high quality people, so that you could become that as well. We talk about all that here on the show because we see so much of the opposite permeating throughout the society. And that makes it that much easier for you to be a part of that group of the other 5, right? Where you're stuck in that type of group. And man, it sucks because the way that they put conversations throughout society, it makes both genders think in interesting ways, and what I like to say is you have to go through things in order to, reach your life at the end. If I was on Rumble, I'd be able to give it to you more real, but quite honestly,
I tell you what, even honestly, even just sitting here and maybe it's unfortunate or not, just even having this conversation is somewhat making me a little uncomfortable because I don't know what kind of heat I'm going to catch.
Sure. No,
You
no, no. And it's
like,
you just want to
but
have a
really,
normal, fun life,
you know?
man. And that's a tough thing to have to even think about, right? And quite honestly, I like being able to make sure that you're in a comfortable space.
No,
you know,
but I
once
mean,
your phone
we're
blowing
cool.
up.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
No, I do. And it's like we all have to deal with these things, quite honestly. And that goes right what I was about to say. Because even though we're on YouTube, I know that we can slip in the curse word every now and then, you know. So what I was going to say is, like, as a man, we have different life experiences than women, and that's not a bad thing. That's actually how it was supposed to be. We actually have different upbringings, we have different privileges, and we have different experiences.
But isn't that just nature, right?
Absolutely right. It's exactly what it is. It's nature. And if, as a man, you want to be the shit, you have to go through shit. It is what it is. Because if you avoid the shit, your life will be shit. Right. And that's just how life kind of just plays out.
I hope you're right, man. Because I'm still going through a lot of shit.
I mean, look at the movie Batman, right? Batman lost his parents at the beginning of the movie. Look at Superman. He didn't just lose a house.
Which Batman?
Well, right. That's a good question. Right. But the story of Batman, he lost his parents at the beginning. I didn't really catch the new one. Did you?
Batman Begins, or the one before that with Michael Keaton and
the one that comes to my mind is
Jack
Knight.
Nicholson.
Is
so now you're talking about Dark Knight with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
Bane.
Absolutely.
Right. But the Batman Begins with the Scarecrow. The first one.
You're taking it back. You're taking it back.
Well, there was three of those
absolutely.
with Christian Bale.
Yeah. You had the Batman Begins, which was the first one of it.
Then the Dark Knight, and then you had the Dark Knight Rises.
Absolutely. Right. Which was your favorite out the trilogy right now? Side note.
The Dark Knight.
All right, cool. We're on the same page.
Heath Ledger was unbelievable.
Legend. Absolute legend.
Probably one of the best character representations
for sure
I've ever seen.
No, absolutely.
But Jack Nicholson was also good as the Joker.
Yeah.
Way back.
But that Heath Ledger, oh my goodness, Heath Ledger, he did something spectacular with that, and we appreciate him.
And there you go. Yeah, exactly. That was someone that suffered from addictive illness.
Absolutely, man. And it's tough.
It's a tough thing.
There's so many guys that are dealing with that. There's so many guys that are quietly going through these situations. Have you ever thought about creating a program where men can come together to work out that are dealing with different situations like that, but they don't have to speak about it per se? It's also almost like an anonymous therapy. Have you ever thought about something like that?
I have not, but that's not the worst idea I've ever heard in my life.
Okay. We'll talk off that. Maybe that's something
that's a pretty good idea. I mean, if you created a men's community for people to come together and work out, and then working out and doing something like that, it does release endorphins. It does make you feel better, and it probably does make you forget about your problems for a little while.
Absolutely.
And worst case scenario, it's gonna get you fit.
Yep. You got, and like you said, worst case scenario, you get fit, and you got some brothers that you actually can talk to. Whether you talk about anything that is bothering you or not, you've got some extra people that are now.
It gives you another option. It gives you another outlet.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything that's not positive about any of that.
Yeah, man, I'm glad we're on the same page of that, because there's two things that I think that every man needs if he wants to join that path to success. One, obviously, is you have to have some type of mission. You have to have a path, a North Star that's leading you forward, something that's guiding you, something that's bigger than yourself, whether it's your family, whether it's helping other people in your community, or helping others at large, right? Outside of that, you have to have a brotherhood of guys that are doing the same thing, that are going to help keep you accountable when you're trying to fall off, not even trying to fall astray. We're all human, but you're going a little bit off the path. You have some guys that are really on that. They're going to create that community of 5 that are going to make you successful as well.
So you told me that you're new to Vegas about 6 months ago. So what mission are you on right now at this point in time?
Yeah, my mission is to use sports to help guys that look like me. Not gonna lie. It all comes down to a lot of these guys that have this skin tone are trying to be athletes or rappers, and they don't realize that that's just leading them to a path of failure.
What? So is what you're saying, as a person of color, be an athlete, but also be educated at the same time?
Absolutely. Understand what your opportunities and your quote unquote leverage actually is. I like to have the conversation of why these athletes actually get paid as much as they do. A lot of people think that they're getting these millions of dollars because they're high paid entertainers, but in actuality, they're just high paid marketers. They're businessmen. So the Boston Celtics are willing to pay
Mhm.
Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown hundreds of millions of dollars because they're going to make billions of dollars off of those two gentlemen there, right? So it's all a business, and these people are just high paid marketers. Oftentimes, these young athletes think that they're making it to these professional leagues simply because of their skill, right? If you're a basketball player because you can dribble the ball really well or you can shoot really well, they think that's what's going to help them get towards the NBA. In all honesty, it's not. Though you can do that, you're going to have some sorts of professionalism so that you can make yourself a marketing entity for these professional leagues, right? And most players don't really get that, let's say, knowledge until later on in life, and it's a little bit too late. So I try to make sure that they can get that information as soon as possible. Like the book that I wrote, bestseller, by the way, on Amazon, Post Game Profits. Go check it out if you want to learn a little bit on how you can make some money outside of the game to be able to make yourself have the lifestyle of an athlete without having to make it as a pro.
But you realize a lot of these guys, and I fell victim. No, I didn't fall victim. I made bad choices, and I did a lot of that when I was young. But and there's no excuse for it. But you're giving a lot of young people a whole lot of money, and it's not always the easiest thing to do is to make the right decision.
Absolutely. Especially when you don't have an example.
So you're trying to help be that example.
Exactly right. I know I can't speak to everybody, right? But I'm trying to help create a platform large enough, get as much engagement as possible, bring on as many people like you so they can see they don't have to make it to the highest level in order to live the life of a pro. You can still do things to be able to help your community. You can still do things that are going to give you that life of fulfillment, even if you don't make it to the highest ranks where you're getting all the praise of being a professional athlete. So that's what my mission totally is to be able to help guys that look like me using sports as that vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah. And what about you? What is your mission, should you say?
Well, my mission in sobriety is just to push forward one day at a time and keep doing the right thing. But in addition to trying to become, even at my age and the division that I'm in, the best possible athlete that I can become, I'm also trying to make this business successful and succeed at this business. It's something that I really believe in. I believe that we make great products. They're all organic and they're all good for you. And I'm trying to get that business off the ground and make it a success.
Yeah. And I think you're starting off on the right path. I've heard you got it to quite a few athletes already. You've got nothing but high reviews from when you've given it to these athletes, being able to feel the recovery. Hopefully, we'll be able to get it in some hands of some basketball players.
I'm also grateful for you having me on this platform, because doing this type of media thing is also helping me spread the word out there and introducing this business to a larger audience.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And don't worry. We talked about it a little bit, might not be tonight, but we'll have you back for sure on a late night show where we're going to get a lot more engagement. And who knows, maybe after that show, they will need some of your product. I know I will.
I'm not afraid to be opinionated. So
I love it. That's the show for you.
Any point in time.
Okay. Yeah. When you got the free time, we'll definitely have you back, man. And don't worry, bring some product for me. I'll need it after that show. Don't worry. I'll need to be able to relax from after all the things that have been said. But man, today, I think some of the things that we were able to really get into, quite honestly, is that one, you got to be able to have an outlet. You got to be able to have some type of way that you're really making things work for what you're trying to put together, right? But then two, you also need to be able to develop that type of community, that community that's going to be able to hold you accountable so that you can really be able to go where you're actually your direction is leading, right? Because we all have a good mission. We all have a good thought, but if you're not able to stay consistent and stay disciplined with what you're trying to put, it's not going to come together. And quite honestly, being able to have those guys and have those men that are really helping you stay on that path is something that's necessary. And I think lastly, one of the things that you brought up, quite honestly, is this product, bro. What really made you be inspired to do CBD into sports? What was the first, let's say, inspirational thought?
Probably just trying to do it for myself, my own pains, my own aches and pains, and just being a person that lives a sober life, trying to find a way that doesn't involve pharmaceuticals to help myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people around me kind of nudged me in the direction to create a business.
I like that.
And it really wasn't any more complicated than that.
Simple and straight to the point, quite honestly. And that's honestly how life needs to be. Once you have the direction, go execute. It's like probably how you look at it when you see those weights right in front of you. I saw some of those weights you be lifting.
Yeah.
You don't think about it too much. It's just you see it, grab it, lift it, and go execute.
And to extend that point, there's a lot of times I have to do with a lot of failed lifts and missed lifts and face failure and try to execute it again.
How do you beat that? How do you get through it?
Life ain't easy. I don't know.
Yeah, what's the first thought that comes to your mind after you hit a failed lift and you got people around you, you know you were about to get it done, you know you're going to give it another go, but what's that first thought that comes to your mind right after you fail?
I would say maybe two different answers.
Mm-hmm.
In just a regular gym setting, I'm kind of pushing myself to failure all the time, so it's just part of the process. It really doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
In a competitive setting, I for whatever reason, like I'm really good at being totally tunnel visioned and narrow minded and just letting it go and moving on to the next thing.
I feel you're locked into the actual goal.
Yeah. So what's going on around me really is not affecting what my execution is.
I like that, man. And quite honestly, here's something that I thought about. Here's something that you tell me how you feel about this. I think that both men and women, we both strive off of getting attention, right? Sometimes people like to make it seem like women just love attention and guys don't. No. We both love attention, but we love attention differently.
There's both men and women putting things out there on social media, which is automatically you're putting yourself out there asking to be judged.
Sure.
Right or wrong.
No, you're absolutely right. Here's where my thesis is, right? I'm not going to write the whole paper yet. I'm not going for a doctorate, but here's the theory. Men love attention for completing things. Women love attention for being. Right? Whether you accomplish it or not, just for being around, she's just going to want that attention. But a guy, when he does something, he would love to get attention for it, right? What are your thoughts on that before I go to my next point?
Oh, man, you really want me to catch some heat, huh?
And I'm just throwing it out there.
I will say, in a general sense, I would happen to agree with you. There's a lot of things that I would say that it's fair to assume that women post on social media just looking for attention because they're there.
Sure.
Now, I think that's fair to say. I think anyone who's ever been on social media would have to agree with that point.
Absolutely.
The other point about men looking to accomplish things, again, I think that's just nature. Isn't that? That's just God's work of creating men to be about their purpose and their mission.
Absolutely. It seems like common sense.
Common sense.
Right. You know, it doesn't seem like we need to explain it any further. And where I was going with that is because how you were explaining when you were in the gym versus the competition. Right. In the competition, you kind of just going to push yourself through it because you know you're going to accomplish something and you are ready to exceed that attention that you're going to do for pushing through it and getting to it. When you're just in the gym, though you know mentally you can get through it, you understand you're just moving through the process. So this is just okay if I don't really have to do this. As men, we don't care about getting the attention just for doing stuff. We want to accomplish something that is noteworthy, and then we really would rather get the attention at that point.
I would have to agree with that.
Man, yeah, and it seems like you really just like gave that answer without even really thinking about it, and that's what triggered me to say that because that's how I feel the same way.
It's off the cuff. I got no notes over here.
Right? No, he's got his phone. Trust me, he's not scrolling through anything over there, guys. Like he's just giving it to you raw, real, and he's giving you the truth. Because the little bit that I play basketball, I'm not some superstar here. I played through college, you know. And then I got kicked off the basketball team because I had a little bit too much of an attitude. But what I noticed is that if I'm in the game, I'm going to hit more shots from the free throw line because the pressure's on and I'm ready to prove to you that I can do this. Versus if I'm just practicing, there might be some times where if I'm not locked in, I'll just take some time off and might miss a shot every now and then. But knowing that when it's time, I can really lock it and get it done. Right. And that's kind of like speaks to, I think, what we were just both saying here. As a man, we're really excited to be able to accomplish something versus just being around, lazy bums. Right. So for you guys that are falling into I won't call it your nature because you're going against your nature and you're not doing anything with your life. You're really sitting at the house waiting for some opportunity to come bite you in the ass. I'm telling you, bro, you're a loser. You're a bum.
But you
You're
can
the
change
guys that
that.
don't
It's all
deserve
on
that.
you. We can all make better choices to change that because I was a loser for 20 years. And you got to make that decision one day at a time to do something better, do something different. So if you're stuck in a rut and you're not doing well, it doesn't have to stay that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Today can be the day.
Today can be day one.
Yes, day one of your future. I'm hoping today is that day. We have literally an example right here of somebody who just gave it down to you raw. It was his life for a moment, but he said, you know what? Today, I'm not going to do this anymore. And he's created a whole new journey, and he's giving other people the opportunity to be able to do that with these great, healthy, natural products here. So I'm telling you guys, if you want to really be able to change your life, hopefully this episode was something that inspired you to get that going today. Right. So before we start to wrap things up, and get ready for the late night show where we have some of the ladies coming in a little bit later, you guys are going to want to tune in for that because I'm telling you, you want to catch these episodes early because later on, you'll just be a part of the crowd. Right. It's just going to be a whole bunch of people watching in and it's like, well, you're just a follower. So catch us early. So that way you'll be like one of the first people to see it. But before we, start wrapping up and getting ready for that, is there any last thoughts that you want to make sure that you left with the audience? If there's something that you wanted to say, hopefully that maybe there's somebody in Indonesia, right, that you wanted to make sure they heard this message. Is there anything you wanted to leave with
I
us?
would just close it out with thank you for having me. Thank you for your sponsor, Telson Tequila. Drink responsibly. Please go to our website, check out our products, www.hgrcbd.com. We're on Instagram as well, at Homegrown Relief. It's free to follow us on IG. Give us a follow. Check us out. Give it a try. And, I hope you have a lot of success with this endeavor that you're on. And best of luck on the night show. I think I'm going to catch a lot of heat for this day show. So maybe next time for me on that one.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. We got to take it one step at a time, right? Like we said earlier, one day at a time, guys. So make sure you check out Homegrown Relief. I love that play on words. It's like relief, but relief. Making sure you know what you're dealing with over here. And when you're ready, go ahead and join into the locker room, guys, because we're going to have a lot more resources. We're going to have a lot more people just like this, making sure that you guys are getting exactly what you need to create the life that you want. All right. So until next time, maybe in about maybe an hour and a half or so, give us a little bit of time. We run on CP time over here. So maybe about an hour and a half, we'll see you with a couple lovely ladies. And until Carl is back next time, give them that link one more time, brother. Where do they go to be able to get these products?
At Homegrown Relief on IG and hgrcbd.com.
Boom.
Thank you
go
for
ahead and
having
check
me.
it out. Absolutely. hgrcbd.com. We'll see you guys here next time. Peace.